So, it is currently the 11th of January. Janland is in less than 2 weeks, so there's one more, like, normal weekend, and then there's Janland. So I realized, oh crap, I gotta get on top of this stuff for Kirby Air Riders, both 3D printing the trophy, and some things with the game itself. So earlier today, oh, no, just, hey, gosh dang it. I guess because I was on this screen here. Here, let me just press this one really quickly. So earlier today, I went around, I've on and off for the last little while, but earlier today especially, I went around unlocking all the carts. I'm pretty sure they're all unlocked, all the machines, and every character, minus the secret character of Noir DDD, which I found out in my research. Apparently, I'm not actually done with Kirby Air Riders. No, I am doing Legend ZA because I'm like 3D Prey. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update for what's going on with this year, because turns out I'm not done with this game. Because it turns out you have to beat the main story twice. You have to do it on New Game Plus with all machines. And you have to face the true final boss and unlock it that way. So it is possible that I might have to do a second playthrough of Kirby Air Riders with the road trip mode before Janland if I want to. Like, having all the characters unlocked probably isn't super important there, but like, you know, if I know that I didn't beat the true final boss and I want to do that anyway, it may as well be before Janland. And then I have all the characters unlocked and people can play the secret character in the Thingamabob. So earlier today, I was playing a lot of Kirby Air Riders on my own. And I was like, huh, you know, in terms of 3D printing this stuff here with the work-in-progress Kirby Air Riders trophy, I guess I should stream some Pokemon Legends ZA, because this is kind of my layout with, like, the whole dedicated print cam and where we're doing this project. So I'm starting to print the base. You might notice the print area looks a little bit different this time. I recently set up an enclosure over my printer. I've never actually used my enclosure before, but now the side of the room looks like that. I somehow managed to put the enclosure over it while still fitting it in that space, which is really quite calling it close. I can't really get to any of my games, minus the Switch games that are on the rack to the right of it. And man, the lights in there with the reflective surface, it just makes the whole thing like a glowing light on the camera. And it looks very different in real life than it does on the camera. It's just rather a glow, huh? When I'm printing PLA like this that I'm printing the trophy in, I don't want it enclosed. I don't want the surrounding air to be hot. You don't really want that for PLA. I've been trying to do that, though, for some other prints that I've been having some trouble with here. I'm trying to print these, this other plastic material. Heavier duty plastic that's good for, like, plant pots and stuff. With these really big prints that have a lot of surface area on the bottom, and they kept on peeling and coming off, so I needed the surrounding air to be hot, so I set up my enclosure. And as soon as I'm done making all these plant pots for this upcoming spring season, I'm going to take away the enclosure because it's super bulky and I can't get to anything on my shelf. But that's why the printer is the way that it is. So, a little bit of a temporary setup so that some of my prints work a little bit better. But yeah, the setup is not at all needed for what I'm doing right now, so hence the door is just open. And that's what's going on there. Hope things are going well today. Mortis, Anima, Redora Master, and I have to look on this screen here to read that because of the... I've used Twitch on dark mode, so they are kind of blends in with the dark blue here. Hello, Omar, the Kaiju Rider. Spoke on Z to A with the DLC Interdimensional Donut? I mean, yes? It's an interesting way to phrase the question, but yes, it is indeed. We go eat donuts and then we go into other dimensions. What am I doing right now? Is this just... Oh, I was right before, like, the next boss battle here. Also, I was debating about... if I figure out how to get, like, now that there's Mega Raichu stones, and since I caught a shiny Pikachu last time, maybe as a good showcase of, like, the kind of flagship Megas of the DLC, maybe I put into my party the, that shiny Pikachu as a evolved Raichu that evolves into Mega Raichu X, because the Y one looks a little bit silly. But I don't know where I find the Mega Stone, so I haven't really thought about that too much, nor have I really thought about a nickname about that Pikachu. I've never seen a shiny Pikachu in a game before, so this was something a little bit different. So, you know, I've been thinking about that a little bit lately in terms of party setup here, so... I don't know. But yeah, I do hope you don't feel rushed to do these, because I keep buying you games. Don't want to do that to you, Mortis. Yeah, there is Lords of the Fallen there that I would like to chip away at a little bit more. I was debating about doing a little bit of it tonight, but I was like, let's do ZA and, like, do some printing and stuff. And then there's Octopath Traveler 0 that I'm like, oh, I'll get to that at some point when I have the when I have the time there, I think. One of these days. I don't know when exactly, but that's what's going to be going on there. So, yeah, definitely no shortage of upcoming games here. I do still want to do Final Fantasy VII Remake starting at Janland. I just last night finished off the Sephiroth prequel story with Ever Crisis, the freemium gacha game. And, like, it probably won't take too long to potentially do Advent Children as well in that. Because Advent Children used to be a movie, they made it a playable game within Ever Crisis as well. And considering it's just adapting a movie, it's probably going to be relatively short. So now I'm debating about doing Advent Children before Janland as well. And then I've truly covered all the other important Final Fantasy VII stories. Now that, you know, Advent Children's a playable game now. Before playing a remake. Then I've got all my bases covered. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards here. And yeah, with less than 2 weeks to go before Janland, I was like, yeah, I gotta get this trophy printed. So hence ZA tonight. Even though I do kind of want to consider like, Raichuin party? Question marks? Hello, Lancer. Multi-talented? No. More like multi-dabbleted. Jack of no trades, master of all. Like N says, our destinies are in tow linked. The hands of fate stink from going unwashed after a royal flush. You can even understand on the metafloor that I have brought meta forth. What? Mega Raichu X design looks good, but Y is better because of the stats. I don't think I've ever seen anybody spell the letter Y like that before. Also, happy 30-year anniversary, Pokemon. Is this year the 30th anniversary now in 2026? Is that what's going on here? Is this my first time streaming this game as of 2026? I'm now realizing. I don't think it is, right? Time is flying by. I think it's my second one of it. Man, time flies when you're having fun, I guess. I missed the first sentence because my brain malfunctioned. Came to get some of Ansha's stuff and take you to Hotel Z for her. But Yacinth and Grizel are in the way, and they look one wrong word away from exploding. Can we ask Laban for help? I really think Labanaval people will be able to defuse Yacinth. Okay, so yeah, Gen 10 is definitely getting revealed next month if it's the anniversary. Yeah, the big, like, Pokemon Presents that they do, like, each February for Pokemon Day. Oh, no. You're probably right, aren't you, Bardis? Oh, no. Whatever. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here. Woke up like 5 minutes ago. Hopefully a good sleep then. But yeah, I mean, those two are a pair of unstoppable forces. Neither one's gonna back down. You misunderstand me. I would never deign to let price dictate the taste or quality of coffee. However, your girlish words and actions would cheapen the taste of even your best brew. Listen, people flock to Nouveau Cafe for two things. My roasts and my roasts. Trying to play off your coarseness as some lovable quirk. Incroyable. No coffee brewed by such a barbarous boor will besmirch my palate. Not what your hotel's famous chef said when she put Nouveau Cafe on her list of Lumios's most noteworthy coffees. Your impudence knows no bounds. You there! Uh-oh, guess we're caught. If it isn't Floridance. You heard all that, didn't you? So who's right? Obviously I am, but I want to hear you say it. You both make great points. Wow, and here I thought you had a spine. Your lack of moral conviction requires correction, by force if necessary. Finally, we agree on something. So it would seem. You need some straightening out, and we are more than happy to oblige. Floridance, prepare to face the two of us. And look at that, you've got Lita, 2-on-2. Fair's fair. Why me? Oh, man. Yeah, this DLC is all these random double battles happening for, like, literally the most random of reasons. We're just gonna do it in the hotel lobby here, I guess. The main game was already this to an extent, but the DLC is especially random bullshit happening in a very random feeling sequence. That's just the entire DLC story here. Yeah, Pokemon Axe and Pokemon Old Spice. Ah, yes. Can't wait for that. But yeah. Your meme this time made me think you were playing Power World for a moment. I mean, yeah, for anyone that wants to see the going live notification, because I mean, kind of what it looks like Mega Lucario Z belongs in. But, it's going alrighty, Mythic. Hope things are going well with you there. Classic stop being a centrist bug. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Just chipping away at several different things here. I actually did something relatively exciting today. Now that I think about it in terms of how it's going. I actually cross-pollinated 2 of my tomato plants. So I am now not only a bit of a gardener, a bit of a tomato gardener here, but I'm also now a plant/tomato breeder. I'm now making my own variety of tomato. I've got to win this battle. I can't let anyone stand in our way. So I had to take, like, a set of tweezers to, like, peel away at the flower petals and all the male parts of this one tomato flower, of this young flower that is probably not pollinated itself yet, to reveal just the pistil, the female part of the flower there, so that, you know, there's no risk. Oh my god, of it pollinating itself! And then I went and grabbed a whole whack of pollen from another tomato plant of mine. Got a whole bunch of that, grabbed a Q-tip, put a whole bunch of that on there, and I have now, oh god. So, I have now cross-pollinated a tomato. Here's another one. It's our responsibility as elites to guide the masses, Clefable. So I've now cross-pollinated a tomato here. And I'm now on track to making my own tomato variety. So unfortunately, I can't just plant the seeds of that and have it be a new variety. It's going to take like several generations stabilizing the genes and all that. So it's going to be a long process. But the most important like doing step has been done. Now it's just grow tomatoes for multiple generations until the genes are all stabilized and stuff. Is basically what's going on. Oh my god. So, I have my own variety of tomato on the way, assuming I did it correctly and didn't accidentally have it pollinate itself along the way. We'll see. And I'll cross a couple more tomatoes as an experiment. But the main thing that I crossed today is the main things that I wanted to make a new variety out of. What a truly magnificent battle. I applaud you and your victory. Our teamwork wasn't very strong to begin with. So, like, my favorite cherry tomatoes of all time, these yellow sweet million ones that, you know, I've probably talked about here before. They're so good, they're so delicious and so sweet, but the problem is you take it off the vine and, like, 50-50 chance they crack. And if they crack, then you gotta eat it in, like, the next day or two or it's gonna go bad. Because, you know, that just destroys the shelf life there. So I usually try to pick them off, like, with the stem still on the tomato, and that's been a decent workaround. But it really sucks where, you know, you pick them off and they just crack so much of the time. So that's the trait that I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to introduce another variety into the genetic pool there to get rid of the cracking while still preserving the super sweet, delicious taste. So I crossed that with a variety called Chocolate Striped Icicle Tomato, which is a very, very unique looking variety of tomato. You look at it, it doesn't really look like a tomato. They're kind of elongated, so they're more plum tomatoes shaped. Even though plums are round as well, but whatever, that's what it's called there. A little bit more elongated, so the more oval shape apparently reduces cracking because, you know, less surface area at the top and all that, so less likely to crack. And the chocolate striped icicle ones are really sweet, so it'll help to preserve this sweet flavor and not destroy it too much. It has a little bit thicker skin than the Sweet Million, so that should also help prevent it cracking. And as a bonus, the chocolate striped icicle is stripy. It's really beautiful, stripy, bicolored tomato. So if my new variety has, like, stripes and becomes, like, a really cool wow factor tomato to look at as well, it'll look amazing and taste delicious. That's my plan. So I started that earlier today. So that's my biggest, like, cool update to share about how it's going, is I've now started step 1 of creating my own tomato variety. Don't know what I'm gonna name it yet, and it's gonna be several years of growing it out. But one day, I'll have my sweet new variety of tomato to share with the world and all that I will have made. Yep, indeed, my tomato talk of the day. One day, I'll have a standalone, unique variety, the only of its kind in the world. And I can share it with the world and stuff. Come meet me at LAN events and you'll get some tomato seeds. But yeah, let's see here. One thing I will respect the DLC that even I criticized from the beginning of Pokemon, put Mythical on the DLC, don't lock them away through events or Pokemon Go. What, the fact that there's, like, Mythicals in this DLC? I think I heard that there was Meloetta, just like the last DLC with Scarlet and Violet. And outside of that, I don't know what else. I guess there's Hoopa, so I guess there's, like, the involvement of the Hoopa within the main story. I assume that's what you're actually talking about there. Mega Lucario is a Power World? I never realized that until now. No, this is Patrick. I missed that by a decent bit. I actually watched the new SpongeBob movie the other day. Love the Mon animations in Pal World. They're so expressive. One of the things that's got my attention in my recent playtime. Pal World is pretty good. It's literally hands down the laziest Mega Pokemon. Don't even think it counts as a Mega form. What, the Lucario Z? There's no way. The laziest one is probably gotta be Mega Pyroar or something. You know. Yeah, the battles really are just shit happening. That's kind of this game in a nutshell. Why does she look like a can of whipped cream? Yeah, I'm the tomato dealer. There's 8 mythicals in this DLC? Really? I did not know that, but I haven't looked into it. I knew that there was Meloetta because I saw a clip of it, and I knew about Hoopa. And that was it. I don't know what the other mythicals are. But yeah, because she's a fairy-type trainer. Hello. It appears we have lost. Blame me. We could have won if I'd understood your fable better. If we are apportioning blame, there certainly are things for which I must apologize as well. How about we call it a good match and leave it at that? I'm not imagining Harmonia with sunglasses and a trench coat being like, hey kid, you want some tomatoes? You know, fun. This is gonna sound like such a crackhead thing, but I actually used my sunglasses to pollinate the tomatoes there. So I was looking online at, like, how do people, like, cross-pollinate tomatoes? And it was recommended to get the pollen off of one flower, like, onto a flat surface of some kind. Then you can just kind of, like, you know, get it onto the opposite flower. And it recommended doing it onto a dark surface so that you can, like, actually see where the pollen is a little bit better. Not have, like, you know, a bright surface where you're not going to be able to see, like, any light pollen that goes on there. So there's one video I saw recommended, like, oh, if you have a pair of dark sunglasses or something. So I took my sunglasses, opened them up, put this flower over the one lens, and shook the flower out. I got pollen all over my lens. And I took my sunglasses and I went up to the other flower and I just smeared that on there, essentially, to cross-pollinate. And that's how and that's the birds and the bees with tomatoes and sunglasses. So, yeah, anyway. So that was what I did earlier today, speaking about sunglasses. It actually worked pretty well, I think, assuming I correctly cross-pollinated it. I won't know until, like, 2 generations of tomato from now, or whatever the heck, but yeah. Oh yeah, I guess there'd be Zeraora, because I saw that Zeraora had a new Mega. That'd be a good point there. Yeah, so that would obviously be one. Mega Lucario Z is amazing, more like Egyptian theme designed. Which time you love it? I assume slight typo, but I get what you're saying there. Like, the Pokemon added in the DLC are good, the content itself is just so incredibly bad. Yeah, I can agree with that. Why is Zarude not in this? Because 2 people, including yourself, remember Zarude is a Pokemon. Hate Zarude now, it's the only Mon I need for the living dex. You know, I wonder what would be more painful. That, or when I was making a living dex, like in Gen 7, something like that, and, you know, had my living dex made. But then from there, I've tried to make a living Vivillon dex with every Vivillon pattern. Ooh boy, I had to trade a decent few legendaries on the GTS for the last few Vivillons I needed, after spending forever trying to find them. You are welcome to join and compete in the Super Tournoi just Yacinth Infinite anytime, my dear. Huh, as if. I'm busy. I have an actual job. You come to the cafe if you want to battle me. What the heck is going on here? But, like, every Vivillon pattern. Because it's based on your real-world region, is the thing. And there's some really quite rare ones. By the way, what brings 2 Team MZ members to Hotel Richissime? We help Florence. We're here to investigate something. I like Zeraora only due to the short time we played Pokemon Unite, and was just stupidly good at Zeraora for no reason. That sounds vaguely familiar there. If that was right when Unite released, Zeraora was busted back then. Yeah, that sounds familiar there. Zeraora's only redeeming quality is that it has the Chidori from Naruto as a signature move, otherwise it just kind of exists. Business regarding Hyperspace Lumios, no doubt. Thank you for working to keep us all safe. Should you encounter trouble, I'm happy to lend my support. Now, moving on. There's no use hiding, Laban. Come on out. You have thanked them Team MZ properly, I hope. Pokemon Unite is such a dogshit game, though. Yeah, I agree. What? Oh, yes. Yes, of course I have. Very good. They have been so kind to look after Miss Ansha after you foisted that responsibility onto them. I'm eager to hear exactly how you have spent all that time that must have freed up for you. the one time the lack of animations is actually funny. No, it's not what you think. Lydia Seath, I swear, I had Miss Ansha's best interest in mind. Do you believe invoking her name will save you? All will be forgiven once you've won 100 Super Lydia Seath Infinite matches in a row. Yeah, Unite had potential, then they just never realized it even remotely. From $40 skins to the game only getting a second map like 2 years in. Oh, did it finally get a second map? Good luck. I'll slip you some coffee during visitation hours. 2 maps there. Yeah, I remember that there was like the whole different mode thing there, but in terms of like the main game mode and all that. Appreciate you all taking care of this hyperspace Illumio stuff. Things boil over, you can count on Team Flare Nouveau's help. Okay. Watching Yacinth and Grizel argue is even more tense than that Pokemon battle, honestly. Yeah, that. Hey, I'm here. Sorry I'm late. Ready to dive in and survey Hyperspace Lumios when you are. Oh, there's a thing on the wall right there. Maybe that's it. Better go take care of my errand for Ansha while the coast's clear. Good luck, you two. Guess that's a hyperspace distortion we're dealing with this time, huh? Well, I'd like to get a bite and go for a stroll. Remember we kept complaining about it when we were playing? Yeah, I remember that. Pokemon Unite is the kind of game where if you're playing with randos, every player on your team is completely incapable of playing the game. And every player on the opposing team are seasoned MOBA players with a combined 700k hours. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes there, I guess. One more update to share about Pokemon stuff. I've been meaning for the past couple of years now to eventually do a playthrough of Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. Because I'd never played that game before, and I only just played through Colosseum for the first time, like, at the tail end of my Scarlet and Violet playthrough. And then I was kind of, like, getting those stupid stakes at the same time that I was grinding away at Pokemon Colosseum. So I was ending up playing, like, 2 Pokemon games at once because of how friggin' boring one of them was on their own, like, one way or the other. And so I've been thinking a little bit about Pokemon XD lately, especially if they do end up announcing more Pokemon stuff this upcoming Pokemon Day, which I'm sure they will. And I was looking up how much is in this DLC anyway, like how many main missions there are and how close I am in terms of progress towards the end. The answer to that, I don't remember, because I was so distracted by, like, one of the later things I checked out. I was checking some of the requirements for some of the later missions, so you know how I have to gather, like, you know, 23,000 points or whatever the heck, and that I'm grinding for a decent while to get that amount of points, like 1 or 2 parts worth of time, grinding that amount of points just to be able to continue playing the game. Well, apparently the main final challenge requires you to get 100,000 hyperspace survey points. So I don't think I'm beating this before Janlan, for one. And that's, you know, that's not even the next one. That's just the final one. So I'm sure that the next ones are going to be more and more. And then the final one is just like, oh, go for 100,000. And that made me think, you know, I was playing Pokemon Colosseum at, like, the tail end of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when it was just kind of, like, a grind for both games. And so I kind of played them both simultaneously so that I wouldn't be bored out of my mind. And now I'm thinking, maybe I should do that with, like, Pokemon XD and this game. Or, like, the super long animations of Colosseum and XD. Maybe I just go around, like, grinding in a battle in, like, XD, Gale of Darkness. You know, put in my inputs, then pick up my Switch controller here, and I go around, like, farming these Hyperspace Lumios points, and then, you know, the turn is over in XD, pick up my GameCube controller, punch in my inputs for the next moves that I want to do in XD, put down that controller, pick up this controller, keep grinding the Hyperspace survey points. So I've been seriously considering that, because I think if I'm going at something like grinding 100,000 Hyperspace survey points in order to, like, truly beat this DLC, and that's it, that's all I'm doing, I'm genuinely going to lose my mind. Like, obviously, it'd be a lot better if it's a stream like this, where it's like, you know, there's active conversation going on and stuff like that, and I can, you know, discuss a whole bunch of things with, you know, everyone that's tuning in right now. But if it's one of the streams where I'm just, like, talking to myself, which, you know, I'm fine doing that with most games, because usually the game is entertaining enough that it's like, whatever, it's just fine. If I'm doing something like this, and I'm talking to myself, and I don't have anything else going on, I feel like I'm actually going to lose my mind. So, I've been seriously debating about starting Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness sooner rather than later, in the sense of, like, starting it before I'm even done with this DLC, just so that I have something else I can play while I'm playing the DLC of this that is also Pokemon related and isn't gonna be, like, too different, too out of the ordinary. Like, I'm grinding out, say, Lords of the Fallen or something like that on the side while I'm doing this, where viewers are gonna be like, what the heck? What is going on here? How does this work? You know, I play something like Pokemon XD on the side of this game. People are gonna know how that works. It's like, oh, look, more Pokemon stuff is going on. Like, this is fine. This makes sense. So, makes sense as well. So, I mean, that's what I've been thinking lately. So, no guarantees, but I have been genuinely considering starting Pokemon XD soonish. And by soonish, I mean once we reach the point in this game where I'm starting to, like, well, I'm already kind of lose my mind at this game, but where I'm starting to, like, especially lose my mind at this game, and I need something else to play while I'm grinding these stupid points. Especially now that I know that there's, like, the 100,000 requirement on the final one. So, oh boy, you know. Let's see here. Finally get a copy. My copy of XD costs $200. No, I would love to pick up a copy of Pokemon XD one of these days. Like, I'll stream it from, my Nintendo PC GameCube. Yep, that's what it's gonna be from. But I would like to have, like, a proper, like, GameCube copy one of these days. I have my copy of Coliseum. I would like to get my copy of XD one of these days, but I know it's gonna cost an arm and a leg. So, that's kind of what I've been thinking here. Let's see here. For me who have barely played MOBAs and just stomped everyone in Unite. They fixed that now. Player numbers in Unite dropped enough that half the time you get paired against a bunch of bots using random players' profiles to look like they're not bots, and they are ass. I say that like I regularly play Unite. I went back to try the new map for an evening when it came out and got a bunch of bot matches. I know the final Pokemon of the DLC is a terrible remix of a great song. I'm still bitter. Yeah, I've listened to that as well, so I attest to that. And that pisses me off the most about this game is that half the music is absolute dog shit. Like, the music direction of this game makes sense. Why? Because it's in, Paris? Hello, Mud. Remember kind of giving up at Scarlet and Violet when I got to grinding the barbecues to get all the stars because it took way too long. Yeah, grinding the barbecues, getting all the steaks and stuff. I needed something else to do, and I'm getting at that point with this game, where it's like, I think playing Pokemon XD would really benefit me at this point. Like, just makes no sense. Okay, yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah, though you could say it makes no sense because it's in France here. But yeah, some of the music of this game is fantastic. Like, I love a lot of the music in this game. And other music of this game is really, like, some of the worst Pokemon music I've heard in a long time. But, like, the themes that hit, like, really hit. I think my favorite theme in this game is Lysander's battle theme. Like, that is so good. But a lot of it is, I don't know. Mud, you gonna play in my Kirby Air Riders tournament in 2 weeks' time? Chanland? I'm printing a trophy right now. I've been working on unlocking all the characters in the game. Trying to get RJ and his pals here to play in my friggin' Kirby Air Riders tournament. Get, like, some true chaos to happen. Yes, probably. Heck yeah. Well, I got lots of people roped into this chaotic tournament. I want to do Kirby Air Riders, even though I've never played. Most people will have never played. And it's really simple. You just hit, like, one button. Like, it's meant to be simple for anyone to pick up, but it's so much more chaotic and mayhem than, like, Mario Kart ever would be. Like, it's a wild ride, and I can't wait to see, like, all sorts of adults just, like, swearing at one another in this tournament like they did with Mario Kart. So I want to do Kirby Air Riders for Janland here, and I've confirmed that, like, yeah, that's going on for this one. And then at Megaland, I want to keep on doing different tournaments. So at Megaland, I might host a Wii Sports tournament. It's what I might look into doing, because I think that'd be really quite funny. So maybe Wii Sports for Megaland. Practicing golf with friends right now, just like Nugget there, that sent me and RJ and Tom like a bazillion invitations to play golf with friends while we were playing Monster Hunter Wilds the other day. But yeah, still not gotten the stars in the dome, jeez. Speaking of grinding, I was playing Tales of Xillia and I was getting my ass beat in the Coliseum, and I got so butthurt that I grinded like 7 levels by beating up those spinning squares, and I'm way above where I'm supposed to be. But the real question is, have you experienced the reproductive harm listed on the back of that box yet? Lysander's theme is what all the other songs in the game should have strived to be. Honestly, because they're so good. I thought this guy was the thing at first. Alright, well, let's do this now.